Part 2. The Last Surgery. The hospital was no longer quiet. Every hallway echoed with the mechanical heartbeat of dead monitors, the flicker of dying bulbs, and whispers that came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Dr. Amelia Rhodes stood frozen, staring at the name flashing across every screen. Dr. Marcus Daniels. Nurse Olivia clutched Amelia's arm. "We need to leave," she said, her voice breaking. "Now. Whatever this is, it's not safe." Amelia nodded numbly, but her eyes were fixed on the hallway leading back to the East Wing. "He said I let him die," she whispered. "Why would he say that? I wasn't even here when the accident happened." "Forget him," Olivia pleaded. "The dead can't accuse the living." But as they turned toward the exit, every light in the hospital went out. Darkness swallowed them whole. Then, one by one, the overhead lights flickered back to life, leading them like breadcrumbs down the hallway, straight toward Ward 13. The pool Amelia's feet moved on their own. The air seemed to grow heavier with each step, pressing down on her lungs like invisible hands. Olivia tried to hold her back, but something stronger, something unseen, was pulling Amelia forward. "Amelia, stop!" Olivia shouted, but her voice sounded far away, muffled like it was underwater. The hallway stretched longer and longer, as if the hospital itself was bending, reshaping. The walls bled rust and water. The old posters warning, "Wash your hands," were smeared with dark stains that looked disturbingly like fingerprints. At the end of the corridor stood the door to Ward 13. The lock that had sealed it shut was gone. The door opened slowly, without anyone touching it. A faint light glowed from inside surgical lamps, flickering above a rusted operating table. The smell of antiseptic mixed with something foul, rot, smoke, and decay. The last operation. Amelia stepped inside. Everything looked frozen in time, scalpels laid out neatly, dried blood on the instruments, patient charts scattered across the floor. And there, standing by the table, was Dr. Marcus Daniels. His burnt lab coat hung loosely from his charred frame. His face half melted, half human, twisted into something that almost looked like a smile. "You finally came," he rasped. "The others are waiting." Amelia's voice shook. "You're not real. You're dead." He tilted his head. "Death is just another ward in this hospital." The surgical lamps flared to life, blinding her for a second. When her vision cleared, she gasped. 5 figures now surrounded the operating table. All of them wore patient gowns, all burned, all staring with hollow, blackened eyes. "The patients who died in the gas leak," she whispered. Marcus nodded slowly. "They trusted me. They trusted you." "I wasn't here," she screamed. He slammed a hand onto the metal table, and it rattled violently. "You were supposed to be. The safety checks were assigned to your name." Amelia's breath caught in her throat. "No, that's not possible. That was... Your signature was on the documents," he hissed. "You signed off on the renovations, the pipes that leaked, the fire that burned us alive." Amelia's hands trembled. Her mind flashed back months ago, before her transfer. She had approved a report remotely from her previous hospital, not realizing it was for Street Matthews' East Wing gas line inspection. A simple formality. She hadn't even read the fine print. Oh God. She had signed it. Marcus stepped closer. His voice dropped to a whisper, icy and calm. "You thought paperwork couldn't kill, didn't you?" The trial. The lights dimmed until only the surgical table was lit. Marcus motioned toward it. "Lie down, doctor. Tonight, we'll operate on your guilt." Amelia stumbled back. but the patients moved in their burnt hands, cold and stiff as they grabbed her arms. Olivia's voice echoed faintly down the hall, screaming her name, but Amelia couldn't move. They pinned her to the table. The leather straps tightened on their own, locking her in place. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. Marcus picked up a scalpel. It glimmered under the light, reflecting his half-dead face. "You took our breath," he murmured. "Now we'll take yours." He pressed the scalpel gently to her chest, and the hospital around them changed. The ceiling cracked open, revealing a void of swirling smoke and flame. The floor became a pool of dark water. The walls pulsed like veins. Every monitor in the ward came to life, showing her own face wide-eyed, terrified. "You killed us. You forgot us. You signed our deaths." The voices layered over one another until they became one deafening chorus of pain. Amelia screamed, "I didn't know!" But Marcus leaned close, his cold breath brushing her ear. "Ignorance doesn't make you innocent." He raised the scalpel, and then everything went black. The awakening. When Amelia opened her eyes, she was lying on the floor of the hospital lobby. Morning light streamed through the glass doors. Olivia was kneeling beside her, shaking her. "Amelia, thank God you're awake." Amelia sat up, dizzy. "What happened?" "You fainted," Olivia said. "I found you in the east hallway. You were screaming." Amelia looked around. The hospital was normal again. Lights steady. Monitors silent. No whispers. No ghosts. "Ward 13, she muttered. Olivia frowned. "There's no Ward 13, Amelia. The East Wing was demolished 2 years ago." Amelia stared at her. "No, I was just there. I saw it." But Olivia's expression was genuine. "You must have been dreaming. Come on, let's get you checked out." Amelia hesitated, then followed her to the nurse's station. She tried to shake the memory, the smell of smoke, the faces of the burnt patients, Marcus's voice. But when she sat down, she noticed something. On the counter was a folder, old, yellowed, edges burnt. The label read, "Ward 13, Patient Files." Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were 6 names. 5 of them were the patients who died in the fire. The 6th, Dr. Amelia Rhodes. The truth, her breath caught. "Olivia, what is this?" But when she looked up, Olivia was gone. The nurse's station was empty. The hospital around her had changed again, the air thick, lights dimming, the faint smell of smoke returning. She turned slowly and froze. Behind her, Nurse Olivia stood still, eyes black, face expressionless. Her voice was not her own when she spoke. "You didn't survive the fire either, Doctor." Amelia shook her head violently. No, that's not true. I came here months after." Olivia stepped closer. "You think this is after? You think you were transferred here? Look around, Amelia. There are no patients, no doctors, just us." The monitors flickered to life again, each one showing a reflection of Amelia. But in the screen's glassy surface, her reflection was charred, burned, her eyes hollow. She fell to her knees. No, please." Marcus's voice echoed through the corridor, deep and resonant. "This hospital doesn't heal. It remembers." The endless shift Amelia ran, through corridors that twisted and stretched, through doors that led back to the same hallway again and again. The building was alive, its lights breathing, its walls whispering her name. She burst into an operating theater, the same one from her nightmare. But this time, she was the one wearing the burnt lab coat. The surgical lamps hummed overhead. The patients stood around her again, silent, waiting. Marcus appeared beside her, calm, almost kind. "We've been waiting for you to take your place." Amelia's voice cracked. "My place?" He nodded. "Every doctor who causes death through action or ignorance ends up here. Street Matthews isn't a hospital anymore. It's a purgatory for healers who failed to heal." The scalpel appeared in her hand. "You'll help the next one who comes," Marcus said softly. "You'll be the whisper that calls them in." Her mind screamed no, but her lips whispered, "Code Blue, Ward 13. The visitor years passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't exist in the silent ward. The hospital remained, abandoned to the world but alive inside. Sometimes, thunder would roll outside and footsteps would echo through the corridors. A new doctor, a curious nurse, a night janitor drawn by the whisper. And every time, the cycle began again. One stormy night, a new figure entered the dark hospital lobby. A young man in a white coat, reading his transfer papers. Dr. Ethan Clark. He paused at the front desk, frowning. Weird. His place looks deserted. Behind him, faintly, the PA system crackled to life. "Dr. Clark, please report to Ward 13. He looked up, confused. Ward 13? At the end of the hall, a light flickered on just one. A woman's silhouette stood there, holding a clipboard, her burnt lab coat glowing faintly in the light. Her voice, soft and hollow, drifted through the corridor. "Welcome to Street Matthews, Doctor. Your shift begins now." The doors closed behind him, and the hospital sighed another soul added to its endless staff. The end.